Hey everybody, it's Nick here from Hotspawn, and I am joined by MKOI Hansen, the assistant coach for the LEC MKOI roster. So, do you want to just introduce yourself to the fans just a little bit, explain what you do, how long you've been doing it, because I think fans who aren't fans specifically of MKOI might not be aware of you, and so yeah, just tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Hansen, I'm from Norway. I've been coaching for a long time now, like 7-8 years. In KOI specifically, my main duties are to help Alvaro, like individual coaching with him, and to do prep work ahead of matches.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, for example, it can be going into this match here, watching a lot of odds, creating patterns, things we have to be mindful of, and also things that we have to be mindful of enemy team to do, both sides.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Great. So we'll start with the match we just had.
Yeah.
You guys just faced off against CFO, who have been, frankly, playing out of their minds this year. It's like the second coming of Flash Wolves.
Yeah.
The LCP are back and kicking. A 3-1 series. One of many this event, it seems. How are you feeling about the series? What were the things that you saw in the games that you were proud of for the team for doing, and what are the things that, heading into, I guess, EWC and the next split that you're going to be reevaluating and looking at?
So I think the series as a whole, we have to be disappointed with how it ended.
Sure.
I think our overall mental strength going into the series was low, and I think we came back in the third game. We awakened, but I think the way we approached certain draw scenarios and how we did moments in game was not good enough. Can take, for example, in the second game, we ended up with Caitlyn Karma, if I remember correctly, and sure, we can do that, but we have different strengths, and we should be playing to our strengths, not trying to follow our meta, and I think that ends up biting us in the neck.
Sure, yeah, totally.
And otherwise in this, I think CFO played really well. I think we are very similar teams in many ways.
Yes, yeah,
so
I
the
agree.
things that happens on the Rift when they do it well and we don't do it as well, looks like a smash.
Yeah.
So that's the reality.
Yeah. You were bringing up the thing, I just sort of chatted with Mirwin briefly on the side, and he was saying that you guys didn't prep the Aurelia pick.
No.
The Yorick came out, and you were just like, Aurelia. I play a lot of Yorick. I'm nowhere near as good as Mirwin, but I do know that I hate playing against Aurelias.
Yeah.
What was the context of that, and was it Mirwin or somebody else who was like, just give me the Aurelia?
So like in this case specifically, it was Mirwin and Melset that wanted it. I think the thing about our team is that we put a lot of faith in Mirwin.
Yeah.
If he wants to play something, we put up for it, we set up for it.
Yeah, pocket pick master.
If it's 20 champions, 30 champions, 40 champions, he will have it ready. So whatever people blind champion, we have something ready for him.
Yeah.
And if it's practiced or not, doesn't matter. If he feels it, we trust him.
And I'm sure he's practiced it a lot with Elyoya in Arena, because I have heard those two have been sort of stomping around the NA arena scene.
Yeah. Since we traveled to Canada, they've just been sitting next to each other and queuing up Arena a lot.
Yeah, I heard that some of the coaches play together, and then when you have to pair against, like, I know I would be tilted if I saw MKOI Elyoya Merwin in my Arena game, and then I heard that you guys had to play
too, so it's
okay, good. Okay, good, awesome. So the next question, and I brought this up. I've interviewed 4 of the MKOI players, everyone but Elyoya this event, and I have been really impressed at sort of the cohesion of the team. After my first 2 interviews, I watched a lot of your vlog content, your time at the Toronto Reign facility, and I've been really impressed by the positive vibes on this team. It reminds me in a lot of ways of a lot of the teams from back from I want to say 2016, 2018 kind of vibe, right? Like the team house group of friends, cracking jokes. They can get 3-0'd or they can 3-0 somebody and they're still cracking jokes just as much. And I've been really impressed with that because I think that, obviously you want to take this seriously, you want to be invested, but letting yourself be crushed by some of the moments that can sting in this sport can demoralize and burn out a lot of players. And so it seems like the 5 guys you've got on this roster have made a huge effort, and probably you guys have as coaches as well, to build out that environment, because as I've been putting it online, the vibes on your team are immaculate, bro. They're awesome. So what has building that out been like? What's the balance in the players sort of doing it naturally and you guys as coaches building an environment where that's encouraged and that's the way that the team communicates?
I think the easiest thing to do is just give credit to Melset. Like the thing about this team is that everyone that came into this team, if it's staff, if it's players, came in with the idea of we trust Melset, we believe in Melset.
Awesome.
So I think that gives a good base.
Yeah.
And then second of all, I think everyone in the team, especially after winter, we had a realization we have to actually be a team, a unit, and play as a group. And I think over spring, especially when Messi came back, because he was on paternity leave
Yes.
for first half, especially when he came back, we realized what we need to do to be a team to win. And I think we showed that in playoffs really well.
Yes, oh,
The attitude.
absolutely, right?
Because the thing is, most series are not going to be a 3-0.
No, no.
Most series are in fact 3-1s and 3-2s, and whatever side of your coin you are, like if you are taking the loss hard, it's going to be difficult to play the next match. I think in playoffs and even against PLG, we did a much better job, but against CFO today, we could not do it.
Sure. No,
That happens.
Yeah, that 100% makes sense. And like you were saying there, you guys had this realization of like, we need to be a team, we need to be a unit instead of 5 players playing like with each other at the same time. And so I'm interested by that because then it becomes an active choice by the players, right? It's not just like, hey, we all get along and it's good vibes until suddenly we're in a hard situation. You guys had the hard situations, had, it sounds like division, some differences within the team, and then the players have realized that they need to be supporting one another, they need to be bantering back and forth, they need to trust one another. And I think it shows, right? I really think it does. So, you guys are not done your crazy schedule yet. You are out to EWC. You've got a little bit of time between now and then, but like, let's be honest, between going home and then going back out, you've got barely any time at all.
No, I will not be much time.
So with the time that you have, without revealing too much, what are you hoping to work on, and what are you hoping to preserve from this tournament, and then also like improve?
So I think the reality is, for most of the time between now and EWC, we'll have to go into travel and rest.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think the one thing that we need to take away from this tournament is that we are very much capable, and we need to make sure we have the belief going in, well, not only on the match day, also in the practice and everything, that it is very possible, and we have to do it over only 3 games. That's it, to win the PO5.
Yeah.
And I think we are close. But the reality is that we are trying to level up our play, and in a part of leveling up our play, we are also making more mistakes. And I think we're taking it harder because we're thinking, oh, these guys are so good. If we don't play an elevated level, we can't win. But the level we played in playoffs in LSC against KC and G2, if we did that today, we would have won against CFO.
Yeah, well, and
that's the reality.
Yeah, and what you brought up about like when Mezek came back, you were. Everybody realized what you needed to do. And I think contextually, it makes a lot of sense that, you as a team were united behind this vision of the head coach. He was off on paternity leave, you had these difficulties, and then he came back, and the explanation makes sense for the team we saw in playoffs. The sudden resurgence of you guys looking so good, looking like a unit, and all of those difficulties that you'd had earlier on in the split, really just like being nowhere to be seen. Just sort of touching on that, I know we have a little bit. That can be a hard thing to do, to get a team that's already experienced these difficulties to reunite around it. And you don't have to do all the details, but just what was that conversation like with the players of just getting everybody back on board with that?
So I think
vision?
I think the most important for this is that we as coaches, we set the ground, but in the end it needs to be the players actually committing to the idea.
100%.
So like, it wasn't necessarily just some crazy words or anything like this.
Of course.
But I think it's important that we set our grounds, we all came to the same points, and from there on it is up to the players.
Awesome.
And I think they did a good job.
Yeah.
Like in the end, we, even in playoffs coming into it, it wasn't that we suddenly had Mesa back in room and now we're winning every scrim block. In reality, we were losing most of the games in practice, but we were getting small learnings. And at some point, the team as a whole, we figure it out.
And you have that vision for what you're working towards, right?
Yeah.
These mistakes are ways to learn something and not just like a demoralizing setback.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Yeah, man, thank you so much for the interview. I've been really impressed by like the environment you guys have set up. These players are super charismatic, super fun to just like talk to and hang out with, and your fans are crazy passionate. They found a bunch of our videos before we like posted them to socials or anything, and so now we just get comments that are just bars of purple hearts, and I think that's awesome. So
that's great.
Thank you so much for the time. We're looking forward to see you guys play in EWC, and come next split, you can bet I'll be cheering for you guys in LEC.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Cheers.